Power BI and PowerApps together, it is now possible to create reports so business users can update, for example, budgets, the forecast, and see the result instantly while the data is written to the source. And here's a little demo of how that might work. I choose a department, punch some data. Right. Oh, wouldn't look nice. I hit update. So as we hit update, these values will be written to, in this case, a SQL table. And once the data is written, the report is refreshed. And this works because this is in a direct query mode. It would not work for a import mode report. So that looks good. Let's head over to the SQL table and see what that looks like. Refresh that and see here's the value I just punched. So these values are actually written to the SQL table. Nothing fancy about this table, but you must have a primary key on the table in order for this to work. So let's head over to Power BI and set this up. Let's connect to SQL Server. My localhost. I want direct query. Load that. Just one small thing to do to make sure the months are sorted properly. And let's just create a simple matrix here. Months on the row, department on the columns, and then budget value. And let's add a slicer as well. That's good. Let's save and publish. All right. So now we're going to edit the report here. We're going to add the Power Apps visual here in the Power BI service. And let's add the values that we need. Just make sure that it doesn't summarize some of them. This is okay, and this should be okay. And then we have to create new. So we get a default setup for an app when we hit the create new, and this Power BI integration, that data is these values here actually, but we don't want to use them here. We need to connect to our SQL table. And change the source of this gallery. We don't need that arrow, and we here I want to show months, not the department. Like that. A bit smaller, and now I have to just adjust it so I get December into it. And I just want to do one small thing. Scroll bar. I don't want it. And now we need something that can hold our budget value. So we need to insert a text input box. And this should be item budget value like that. Now it pops up the values I entered earlier. We'll work on that. And we need a button which we can use to update. And the on select part here should be using the for all function and gallery all items. And the patch function will patch this row by row, which actually means updating the SQL table. And we have to use the budget ID because that's a primary key. And this is the field that should be updated. And we're going to get that field from the text, get that value from the text input. This that takes care of the writing to the SQL table, and then we have to refresh the Power BI report, and that's just this one. That's good. Just adding a label left. I'm just going to paste that in because it was a bit not tricky, but fiddly. Like that. Just so what this says is, if more than one department is selected, display this text, and if just one, this one is selected or displayed. Sorry, not selected. Right, so that one small little thing, just which is cool. If I go over here and click on the department in the slicer, it's actually reflected back here in PowerApps Studio, which is a nice little feature. So let's, all right. Oh, I forgot to add a filter, which is quite crucial. That. It looks better. And in order to make sure that the users can't enter anything without actually have selected exactly one department, I want to hide this button and I want to hide the gallery. If I go to the visible option, and we're just gonna this. So again, it counts the number of departments and sets it to true if it's exactly one or false otherwise. Like that. And same for the gallery. Not that. So now it's just one selected, but if I go over here and uncheck it, it disappears. Nice. So let's save this. Oh, one more thing. Let's go to file. I want to do some changes to the size. So using this create new from the Power BI service defaults to the phone layouts, but gets a bit more options to tweak it if you uncheck this one. So just apply that one and then save it. Oh, let's call it demo. Right now, before you do anything else, save this report, because if you don't and you do something and refresh, you will lose what you just did in PowerApps. So let's hit save. And now if I do click there on Maritime, I see, okay, Maritime, I can punch some data again, hit update, wait for the marching cards to finish. And there it is. Now we can double check that it's actually updated here as well. That was Maritime, and there's the value. So I just punched. That's it. That's easy. Have fun.